1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
My mom works at the senior center, and they have a jazz band there, and this guy didn't want these drums anymore, and she noticed I like tapping on things, and so she said, "Do you want some drums?" And I said, "Okay." So I took them home and figured out how to put them together and figured out how to play them. And my friends were starting a band in like 9th grade, and so they were like, "Oh, you have drums," and so I learned to play the drums for that.
I guess I was probably like 7 years old when I first thought I wanted to play music, and I went to the guitar shop probably when I was like 8 or 9 or something like that, and my parents went and then they told me I was too young to play guitar because my hands were too tiny. And then by the time I became like 13 or 14, my parents finally bought me one of those cheap Fender Squire packages that came with an amp, and then I just pretty much barely went to school. So then when Kern was in Davis, I was like bored and I just started calling him up. I was like, "Hey, we should jam." And we started playing together out while he was in Davis in like a garage where it was like 108 degrees every day. And then eventually, yeah, it was horrible. And then eventually he moved out here and started living with me, and then the band just kind of continued. So it's just been us two.
I guess we're working on recordings right now. In here, we've been doing them, and we've been adding overdubs onto stuff. So things that we can't do with 2 people, so we're kind of experimenting with that a lot, I guess.
I guess for me, well, it's very similar in the sense that like, I want the record, you know, it's like something that you enjoy when you listen to at home, you know, it's like it's a much different experience, you know, with private listening. And then, you know, when you go to a show, a lot of people these days, you know, they expect because they pay, you know, however much money that you go up there and you play your exact song, right? It's exactly the same. So because we don't have, you know, the, I guess, how do you say, other band members, I guess, we kind of just try to do it in a way that we find very engaging and like energetic live. So that's how we usually do it. So the record's a lot, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, well, we want the record to be something you can very much listen to and enjoy like in a different way, and then like the live show you come to it because it's like a much different experience.
I like jazz a lot. Like that's I mean, I got my drums from this jazz guy who used to work for like the Fox movie orchestra or something like that. It was like The King and I. He was like on the soundtrack and everything. And so I listened to jazz a lot. I mean, there's some of the contemporary ones. Ari Honig is like one of my favorites. I love watching videos of him. And then some of the olders. I like Rashid Ali has a couple interesting duos like Frank Lowe, and then he does one with John Coltrane as well. Oh, I get back to contemporary, like Chris Corsano. He's really fun to watch because he plays drums by himself a lot, and he'll just perform by himself, and it's fun to like look at that.
So like my dad had an entire garage full of just rock and roll records, all British rock and roll actually, exclusively. And so everything from like, you know, Pink Floyd, the Stones, Beatles, and like that stuff really shaped me at a very young age, especially Elton John. And then probably I was about like, yeah, 7, and then I saw Elvis on TV, and I was just like, oh my god, I gotta be that guy. So Elvis was really cool, and then it kind of just like kept going for a while with like the same rock and roll and just like, you know, stuff like that. And then I really got into like theme songs for like shows. Like I always thought that was really like almost like operatic, like cinematic kind of, you know. It's like has like a different element about it. And I guess once I combined all those elements, I kind of just like landed where I am now. So that's pretty much it.